Okay, starting with a tropical island into a Birds of Paradise. You don't like the voice in... Okay, I can do so, yeah. I thought like with like a bit of noise in the background, it would be better, but yeah, I can also mute that. We have a survival of the fittest on turn 2 with a bird up. Lots of ways to... There's a Finton elf. Interesting that he decides not to use the survival. But it could also be that... What does he have in hand? Can't figure... What's this one card? Definitely a powerful start. Welcome to the stream. So we have a scrubland and a plain, so now there's a Godless Shrine entering. No, the Godless Shrine is not entering. He was playing a Tithe. Great card. I like it. I will cast the whole day as well as tomorrow. Whole weekend dedicated to get you all the matchups with English coverage. Yes, quite a marathon. Well, we have breaks in between, so that's okay. But yeah, let's see how many rounds are played day 1. There's an Inquisition of Kozilek showing 2 lands and a Fauna Shaman. Okay. So now you have to find another creature in order to make use of the survival. And the follow-up is a Skull Clamp, as well as a Zuran Orb. Zuran Orb is dangerous. Because again, guys, I will just show you the backside of Sorin. You have this -1 ability, which is very powerful. You put the ability on stack, and then you can do some shenanigans with Renounce or Zuran Orb, sacrifice a couple of lands, and then you can win the game on spot, depending on how many life you've gained this turn. But very, very dangerous. And one of the 2 combo cards for this deck. The question is always, how does the combos around Thrasios look like? I personally think there's not a good setup for Tymna. I mean, the Finton elf could connect, yeah. But I would expect that he plays a Devoted Druid with Swift, as well as the Menguchi result. Menguchi won 2-1 actually against Tymna Thrasios. So back to why not playing Tymna, or what the list could contain. You see, and I did that too, people cutting Vizier of Remedies. Instead, you play the new Squirrel, which I will show you in a split second. Here it is, the Hazel's Brewmaster. So how that works is, first of all, that's a 1-card combo with Survival of the Fittest, because you will search for the Devoted Druid, and then you will bin the Devoted Druid and search for the Squirrel. You play the squirrel, exile the druid, and your food token has the activated ability of Devoted Druid, so it will produce infinite mana. That's a way better piece than having Vizier, which does nothing outside of being a combo piece. And the Brewmaster also, you can also exile a Nomad, for example, and your food token has the ability of Nomad. So you can also interact with Nadu and or Breakfast, Cephalid, Illusionist I'm talking about. So yeah, I would expect him to play that. Here we see a Grist. So now he's going through the list. So we see a couple of cards. We see the new Raccoon, quite a nasty card. What was it called again? Scryfall can't find the card. That doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest. And I'm missing the name because I always just call the card Raccoon and that's it. So I tricked my brain. But you guys definitely know which card I'm talking about. Keen-Eyed, thank you. That's it. Keen-Eyed Curator, yes. There we go, great card. Keep in mind, once the static ability is online, it also has Trample. And there we see the Scribble, guys. That's what I expected. And we have the Devoted Druid in graveyard. 1 mana left. If it isn't for a Dismember or something to kill the Squirrel, this could mean that Tymna Thrasios takes the first win. So playing the Squirrel, trigger. And then there could be a Cling to Dusk also to get rid of the Devoted Druid. But it seems there's nothing. So we have a food token, a mighty food token. And there's Thrasios. Now he will create infinite green mana, searching for a Finale of Devastation. And the opponent says, well, yeah, you can play it out. Or you just show me your Finale, it seems. In this situation, although it's a bit nasty to play it out, you should always let your opponent find the Finale naturally, because it gives you information about the combos the deck is playing and it's not playing. Some people play Breakfast, some people play a more mid-rangey variant. I've even seen some counter spells in the deck. So just to gain more information, you should just let them search the Finale with Thrasios. Unless you're in the second game and you've already lost the first one. Then, of course, there's no need to go through that again. We are talking about this Judge Gift card, which is a reserved list card, but it's foil, because back then Wizards did not have the... There were some policies around when and when not to reprint them, and I think at some point they stopped everything in that direction. So here we go. Oh no, that's the... I found the play mat and it was like $30. Like, oh, that's dirt cheap. It's actually not what I was searching for. Here we go. Why can I not find it? Ah, there, because of the... Yeah, it's like 900 euros on card market. Not too bad. So let's get back to the match. We have a cool signature on the Windswept Heath, it seems. A red one. I'm always a fan of signatures. Not sure if that's the artist. Turn 2, Emperor of Bones. Good card. So there is a Fauna Shaman played by Teddyclaws. And we have a Static Prison on the other side. Great card. I like it. I like it even more in combination with Felia. But you can't have it all. There's a Skyclave. I don't know if I like it that much. Sorin. I'm not sure if the Emperor's too scary here without any creatures in the graveyards. So if you like, Doc, you can actually talk an hour in the chat. But I don't know if you want to type that much. There's a cool token. A prestige token. Seems to be an illusion. Yeah. And now there's a 2/2. Not too scary. The troll is entering the graveyard. That would have been a cool interaction with the Emperor. So maybe in the end it was right. But he also had no information on the troll, I assume. So yeah, I was just kidding. I mean the reprint policy thingy is interesting for sure. Maybe in between the games, we can focus a bit on that. So 1 energy paid. I think this could be a time to play Sorin, yeah. I think there was an animate dead in hand, so maybe that brings back the troll and puts some serious clock to the board. But decides not to do it. There's a command tower and a third card that I can't identify. I don't quite understand what Sorin was afraid of in that very turn. If it wasn't for Nadu into Nomad. With the land drop in addition, this had to be, or this would have been the perfect draw. I would have definitely played the Animate Dead here. Okay, he's holding up an Enlightened Tutor in addition to Extort. The question is, let's have a look at the target. Maybe it's a P-Wave, then I can understand the decision. Otherwise, you could also do this. I mean, he could have done it in Upkeep too, because he has a Command Tone in hand. And it's a Zero Knob. Okay, then even then, yeah, well, that's, it could have, yeah. Next game, our next turn would be 1 if the troll would be on battlefield already. So there's the Animate Dead. Targeting what exactly? Could also target the Skyclave to get rid of Devoted Druid because the Give of Runes is not active yet. Well, I think these days, to be honest, some people don't really care about aesthetics, and you don't really have to mind. I think the Kaldheim snows are fine. Again, it's just a matter of taste, like whatever you prefer. You cannot change your snow-covered basics every 3 months because Wizards just printed another cycle, and then there is for example, the new Secret Layer cycle with the animals it's also pretty cool, but I'm not going to spend, I don't know, 200. I have no idea how they cost per single piece, but I'll just say if you want to have 20 of each, you'll probably pay 200, 300 bucks, something like this. Yes, many people also prefer the Ice Age lands. It's true. And here we have more or less a lethal situation because Sorin can deal 10 damage on the spot and the opponent is down to 11. So that seems to be a concession, and we're going to game 3. The 2nd November seems to be an interesting date for the gaming world. So today I think we have the World's Final for League of Legends. We have the Blast Premier Final for Counter-Strike. We have the Relic Fest happening. Not the finals today, but still. Biggest event in history for Duel Commander. Quite a lot happening today. There's a Llanowar Elves turn 1 and a Hushwood Verge. Here you go. Oh, I didn't know about the Scarcraft final. Okay, interesting. RTS-wise, I'm only into Age of Empires 2. But I feel like I'm too old for this game. Too much clicking. And there's a new card, Ghost Vacuum, it's called, right? Yes. A good card, I think. Definitely prevents Sorin from losing against the Brewmaster combo. And maybe he can grind out a game to make use of it later on. We have a Fiend Artisan entering the battlefield. Yeah, that's a card that I'm personally not a big fan of. We see a Neoform in hand. I think Fiend Artisan is just too costly these days. It's the worst version of Fauna Shaman. It is sorcery speed. And you have to pay the mana cost of your target. Well, you have to pay them. I mean, Fauna Shaman works differently in a way that you have to pay the spell. You just cast the spell, of course. So here it's you search for the card. The difference is, let me just see. I'll bring up the Fiend Artisan again. Yeah, sure. Fiend Artisan has the upside of being a big creature, but I don't really like the fact that like in order to search for the cards, mana-wise you're much less flexible. And it's sorcery speed, which is quite bad in some cases. Like because you want to activate your survival end of turn and wait for opponent to see what they're doing. And not proactively searching for your targets, telegraphing for a whole turn, and then your opponent can maybe prepare for that. It's much worse. We see a Deep-Cavern Bat. The currently best kite sail freebooter available. So for the people that are not into the format, for those guys who missed the previous era with Tymna and Thrasios being legal as both partners, back in the days you were playing kite sail freebooters and other cards like this because this has a nice little Durus effect and it has flying, so it's quite a cool lineup with Tymna. If you can't find a dork, you have a turn 2 play that gives you information, and turn 3 you have an evasive creature that might draw you a card. Yeah, I think Fiend Artisan is a card that had its home in Grist back then when it was a mid-rangey deck, when Hogard was not yet banned in the 99. And here we have the Neoform into the Fiend Artisan. That's what I expected. Podding away the Llanowar Elf. So the actual big downside, apart from being sorcery speed, is that you have to pay the mana for the creature that has to be podded into the Fiend Artisan. It's like mana-wise, the amount of money you have to spend in order to make use of the Fiend Artisan is much, much worse than Fauna Shaman and Survival. Opponent is being very nice, showing all the cards to his opponent. So he revealed 1 land and 3 cards. This seems to be an Eladamri's Call, a Palace Jailer, and the Raccoon. And here are 2 more triggers for the Psychic Frog. Yeah, end of turn, you can exile something. Doesn't really do a lot. And now he's passing the turn and probably letting him draw a card. Interesting. Well, There's an underground mortuary, survey land, command tower, marsh flats, another fetch land, and now it's Nadu's turn. There's a Court of Calling. Okay. And a Fintorn Elf. I have no idea if he's running the Springheart Nantuko as well as Sylvan Safekeeper and Endurance. If so, he would be able to finish the game more or less on spot next turn. Otherwise, you just value into one of the other combos. I don't really like the Springheart Nantuko in this particular deck because I think it's very tight and the card quality is not too crazy here. Sometimes you manage to bestow it onto other things like Spellseeker and whatsoever. Of course, then it's crazy. Or if you make like a second Psychic Frog, it's pretty good. But well. Yeah, I get that complaint quite a few times. Nadu is boring to resolve. It's not really enjoyable to watch Nadu going off, that's true. It's also not very interesting to resolve it, to be honest. But I think it's a necessary evil for combo decks, after all. Because apart from that deck, what's left in the format? Of course, there's some people running around with Grixis Storm. You see Aral every now and then. Aminatu is definitely a combo deck. But apart from that, I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree with. And I think from the Tamiyo era, we saw that Nadu proved not to be the craziest 99 inclusion outside of being a combo piece. People tried to include it because they thought, oh, this card is just so broken, I have to play it. Well, in the end, you find various ways to play around, depending on your deck and depending on the situation, of course. But then it's just a 3/4 flying with 4/3 mana. So not too crazy. There's a Parallax Wave that's not bad, but there's so much advantage gained by those triggers already. I don't think that Sorin has a great time coming back unless, guys, you need to know the crazy combo card that Sorin has available. It's Renounce. So you have to have, in this situation, you have to have 9 permanents. And again, you just have to flip Sorin and put the -1 on stack, and then you sacrifice all your things. And if you're very sure that your opponent doesn't play any stifle effects, then you win on spot. Really cool card. I like it a lot. So that could be something. We see a Haywire Might. Okay. Yeah, that deals with the Parallax Wave. Good one. Quite a good one. Yeah, I think so too. The Renounce is very powerful. It's the best combo card in Sorin, actually. Hard to organize all the lands. Boop. Bye-bye P-Wave. And now it's looking really ugly. From Sorin's perspective, it looks really, really bad. Yeah, this should go into exile. Does not necessarily matter. There's a swords. Yeah, this is... Yeah, okay. There's at least a DT in Ben's hand that could do some stuff. What do you mean we missed Nadu? To ban the card? Okay. So there is a DT happening, and he's just showing the balance. Balance is also a great answer against Nadu. And it seems that there was some misplay on Ben's side that he's currently explaining to his opponent.